Hey, welcome to the Stephanie Stevens Show, where I help you discover the power of communication and the keys that unlock the doors to freedom in every area of your life. Hi, friend. Let's talk about the blessing and the curse. Ooh, provocative. So, have you heard that something that is a gift of yours may also have a flip side that presents itself as a curse? Well, let's get into this just a minute. First of all, thank you very much for listening to the Stephanie Stevens Show podcast. I'm Stephanie Stevens, and I'm grateful to share time with you today. Hey, would you do me a favor? Would you please share this content with someone if you think it may be of value? And also, if you would rate the podcast, it will help other incredible, amazing people like you who are into growth and self-development and expansion find the podcast. And also subscribe if you haven't already. Then you'll never miss an episode. And thank you for doing so. So I have been thinking lately about this idea of the flip side of the coin. What's the coin? Well, it's anything really. So let's say you have a specific gift or talent. And that gift or talent has been gifted to you by your Creator. And you are here in this earth for such a time as this. Now, when I say this, I use air quotes, such a time as this, as it relates to time and space and eternity, right? This is a tiny chunk of time as it relates to the span of eternity. Yet here you are. Here we are, right here, right now, in this period of time. Why? Well, you have something very special that is required here and now for such a time as this. What is it? And as I ask that, I'm asking your brain to do that transgenerational search and find the answer. Now take a moment. What is that thing? What are those things that you have that are special, that are gifts for such a time as this? Whatever they are, your Creator makes no apologies for giving them to you, whether you choose to use them or not. Also, whether you choose to use them for good or for otherwise. It's interesting, if you've ever read scripture, it says that God gives gifts and does not apologize for the gifts he gives. It's up to you to do with them as you will and as you ought. So you can use them for good or for evil, or you can simply not use them at all. I suppose that would be kind of akin to hiding it under a bushel. Oh no, remember there's the oh no part, as in like don't do that. So whatever those things are that you have, they're for us. I need that. What you have, I need it. And so do the other people in your sphere of influence. That's why you're here. So search and find those things that you're here for. And then take that, like let's say that's the head side of the coin. It's shiny. Let's pretend it's new. It's amazing. It's made out of whatever your favorite precious metal is. And that is here to expand and grow and to turn around and utilize a gift to us, to mankind and others. And so then now take that coin and flip it over. There's a tail side or another side. What's on the other side? So oftentimes that phrase, the blessing and the curse, relates to the fact that whatever gift you have will provide a very serious measure of resistance. That's the flip side of the coin. So I'll give you an example. People pleasers are people who often are very generous. They love to give. They want to meet other people's needs. Beautiful, shiny, golden. Now flip that coin over. What's on the other side? Vulnerability, a lack of boundaries, the inability to say no. Maybe there's an enabler on the other side. Maybe there is somebody who is easily taken advantage of and doesn't realize it. Because that shiny golden side, the gift, is to want to give and help and support and provide. But then that leaves them incredibly vulnerable. That's the flip side. Here's another example. When I was a kid, my parents would often say, you should have been a lawyer. You're a great arguer. Well, I mean, what they meant was I was super argumentative. And what I didn't realize at the time, they probably didn't realize it. Maybe they did, and they just hoped and prayed that that gift would be refined a bit. But the point is I really had an answer for everything, and I really wanted to be right. Whether I was or not, it didn't really matter. I was really going to argue as though I was right. And so the blessing side of that is the ability to communicate in a passionate way. I think a few of my family members called it intense. I'm calling it passion. So the ability to communicate a thought or ideas, or the ability to play devil's advocate and argue the other side of any given argument. It was just fun for me. It kind of still is. Now, it gave my parents a hassle because, again, I had an answer for everything, and the answer should have been silence in many cases. I should have learned and received from those who were attempting to teach me. I really wasn't willing. I was a little more defensive. But the flip side of that coin and the shiny golden part is the ability to express thought, and also the ability now to teach others to do the very same thing. Critical thinking is imperative. Logical thinking is imperative. Pair that with intuition. Wow, you've got something very special. Flip that coin over. The vulnerability is knowing when to listen, not to make a point, not to state the argument, but to simply let that go, yield, take a step back, take the breath, and listen. That's it. So as you think about whatever that thing is that you have that's a gift, and you flip it over, check it out. Now, look to see what is on the other side of that. What is the challenge? What is the hassle? What is the thing that people have brought to your attention that needs a little bit of refining? I'll let you in on a secret. It's much easier if you discern that yourself and work on it than if you have to get a lot of feedback from others that says, you should probably work on this. Because that kind of hurts. It's just easier to start to inspect your own fruit. I know some people call this the fruit inspection. A lot of people talk about they will know us by our fruit. Well, who's they? You know who should know you first by your fruit? You. Be your own inspector. Inspect your fruit. If you're giving off a vibe of argumentativeness, well, you're probably a fantastic critical thinker. You're probably very logical, maybe a little bit witty. The other side of that is you may not be the best listener. That may be something that you want to take a look at and work on. Maybe start to administer the 90-10 rule. 90% of the time listening, 10% providing feedback and input. So if your gift is being a go-getter and being kind of a type A and being a driver, the flip side of that beautiful shiny gold coin may look like impatience and the inability to yield to someone else's form of communication and somebody else's ability to verbalize, requiring time to process. You may be fast, let's go, let's do it, come on, let's go. And meanwhile, you may be working with a handful of people that do not work at your pace. It doesn't mean their work is diminished. It means they're working at a different pace. Maybe beautiful work, just not at your pace. That's okay. The opportunity here for you then is to yield to that. Allow for it and see what comes of it. So take your coin, flip it over a few times, bless and honor the gift, and then take the other side and be willing, open, and yielded to receiving some change on the flip side. Literally, get it? Change, coin, right? So just be able to discern where you may have a weakness that you are now willing to step into a place of sharpening, refining, and strengthening. Now, that, my friend, is the gift that keeps on giving. Thank you again for listening today. I so appreciate your time. I can't wait to see you on the next episode. Thanks so much for listening to The Stephanie Stevens Show. Please remember to subscribe so we can stay connected and you never miss an episode of the podcast. Oh, and if you haven't left a rating yet, please be sure to do so. It helps incredible people like you find the podcast. We'll see you on the next episode.